The story began with Ethan Cole, a simple human explorer with big dreams and a restless heart. For years, he had watched the stars from his small apartment window on Earth, wondering what secrets lay beyond. He wasn't a soldier or a scientist, just a curious traveler with a knack for finding trouble, and a camera always hanging from his neck. When the Intergalactic Council opened new routes for alien tourism, humans were allowed to visit dozens of alien worlds, but not all of them. One world, known as Zitha, was strictly forbidden. The council claimed it was not safe for human biology, but rumors online said otherwise. People whispered that Zitha was a city of wonders, glowing streets, floating towers, and living machines. And most of all, they said humans weren't welcome there. For Ethan, that only made it more tempting. One quiet night, while watching a popular alien travel vlog, he found a hidden file in the description, a strange set of coordinates and a small line that said, "For those who seek the truth about Zitha." Ethan smiled. Challenge accepted. 2 weeks later, Ethan stood inside a cargo ship disguised as a mechanic. The ship was run by Thalrians, tall insectoid creatures who rarely spoke to humans. The air smelled of iron and ozone, and the sound of the engines hummed like a heartbeat through the metal floors. He had paid a small fortune for this ride, trading almost everything he owned. He didn't care. He wanted a story worth telling, a story no one else could film. As the ship approached Zitha, the view outside the window took his breath away. The planet glowed with blue rings and silver clouds. Lightning moved like veins across its surface. "Unauthorized life forms will be scanned," a robotic voice echoed through the corridor. Ethan ducked behind a cargo container, holding his breath. His suit's bioscanner flickered red for a moment, but he quickly pressed a button on his wrist device. The scanner blinked green, thanks to a small alien chip he bought from a smuggler on Mars. "Human signature masked," whispered his AI assistant Luma through his earpiece. "Good," Ethan murmured. "Let's hope it stays that way." The ship landed with a metallic thud. When the doors opened, Ethan stepped out, and what he saw made him forget how to breathe. Zitha wasn't just a city. It was a living organism. The streets shimmered like liquid glass, and the buildings moved slightly as if breathing. Towers grew like plants glowing from within. Creatures of every color and shape walked through the air itself, some floating, some gliding. There were no signs, no roads, no rules, just flowing patterns of light that guided beings through the city. Ethan whispered, "This is unreal." "Recording has started," Luma replied softly. He started walking, filming everything. No human had ever seen this place, and he felt a mix of fear and wonder. The aliens around him were unlike anything from Earth. Some looked like flowing water in humanoid form. Others had crystal bodies that refracted light into rainbows. A group of small floating beings with golden eyes paused and looked at him. He froze, afraid they'd notice his human features. But they only chirped softly and floated away. For the first hour, everything went smoothly. He recorded market stalls that sold glowing fruits, energy crystals, and small creatures that sang melodies. He saw floating pods where aliens exchanged memories instead of goods. "This could change everything," Ethan said in awe. "Humanity needs to see this." But then he noticed something strange. No one laughed. No one showed emotion. Everyone moved in perfect patterns, their steps synchronized like a dance. The city pulsed with rhythm, but it felt hollow. "Luma," Ethan whispered, "scan for life signs." "Scanning." A pause. Then her voice turned uneasy. "Ethan, something's wrong. The city's bioenergy readings are artificial." "Artificial?" "Yes, these beings are not alive in the way we understand. It's like they are projected consciousness controlled by something." Ethan frowned. "Controlled by what?" Before Luma could answer, a soft voice echoed behind him. "You shouldn't be here, human." He turned sharply. A tall alien stood before him with silver skin and eyes that glowed like molten gold. Unlike the others, this one looked real. The air shimmered slightly around her as if the city itself reacted to her presence. I think you've mistaken me for someone else," Ethan stammered. The alien smiled faintly. "You wear a mask of energy, but the city knows what you are. It feels your heartbeat. It smells your fear." Ethan's hands shook. "Who are you?" "My name is Saris," she said calmly, "and I'm one of the last living beings of Zitha. The rest are echoes of the past." He blinked. "Echoes?" She nodded, sadness in her eyes.
Our world fell long ago.
The council banned humans not for safety, but to hide what happened here. Zitha is not a city anymore. It's a memory, a recording kept alive by machines. The council fears what humans might learn from it. Ethan's heart pounded. Then why are you still here? Because someone must guard the truth. She stepped closer. And now you've brought danger with you. The city's defenses will not tolerate a human presence for long. As if on cue, the ground beneath them trembled. Blue veins of energy spread across the floor. The peaceful hum of the city turned into a deep rhythmic pulse, like a heartbeat growing faster. What's happening? Ethan shouted. The city is waking, Sarah said grimly. It thinks you are an intruder. Can we hide? No. We must reach the core before it finds you. It's the only place where the city cannot see. They ran. The world around them shifted like a dream. Buildings bent, streets folded, and glowing bridges melted into new paths. Ethan's lungs burned as he followed Saris through an alley that twisted like a snake. Behind them, drones of pure light began to form, floating sentinels shaped like spinning discs. They hummed louder with every second. Saris, if this city is alive, can't you tell it to stop? Ethan gasped. I am not its master, she replied, only its prisoner. They reached a narrow passage that led into the heart of the city. The air grew thicker, almost solid. Ethan's suit sensors flickered wildly. Warning, Luma said, energy density off the charts. Saris turned to him. If you survive this human, you must promise something. What? Tell your kind that Zitha was not destroyed by war or time. It was destroyed by curiosity, just like yours. Before Ethan could answer, the passage opened into a vast chamber filled with floating crystals. At the center was a glowing orb pulsating like a living heart. Saris whispered, Welcome to the core. Ethan raised his camera. This was what the council was hiding? Yes, she said. And now it will see you. The orb brightened. A deep voice echoed through the chamber, calm but immense. Human detected. The walls shook. Light filled the room. Ethan tried to run, but everything went white. When he opened his eyes again, he was lying on a cold metal floor. Saris was gone. His camera was still recording, but the city around him was silent. Luma, he whispered weakly. I'm here, she replied. But, Ethan, we are no longer in Zitha. He sat up slowly, his vision clearing. Through a cracked window, he saw stars and the glowing curve of Zitha far below. He was back on the cargo ship. What just happened? He breathed. Unknown, Luma said softly. But the core sent us away. Maybe it spared you. Ethan stared at his camera, the last video still playing. A flash of light, Saris's voice, and then silence. He whispered, This has to be seen. But in the corner of the screen, one frame flickered, a golden eye staring back. Saris. And then a whisper echoed through his comms. You were never supposed to leave. When Ethan Cole woke up, his head was still spinning from what he had seen in Zitha. The city that wasn't alive but still moved like it had a soul. His fingers shook as he replayed the footage again and again. Each frame showed something impossible. A city made of light, an alien woman named Saris, and that glowing orb that called itself the Core. He had proof now. Proof that the Intergalactic Council had been hiding something huge. But as he stared at the recording, one thing kept haunting him. The last frame. Saris's golden eye flickering in the darkness, watching him even after he'd been sent back. Luma, he said quietly. Can you scan the footage? Already doing it, replied his AI assistant. There's something strange in the last segment. The data isn't video, it's alive, Ethan blinked. Alive? What do you mean? I mean the file has energy patterns similar to neural signals. It's like something is inside the recording. Ethan frowned. You mean Saris? I don't know, but whatever it is, it's still active. He felt a chill down his spine. Let's get off this ship before someone finds out. Hours later, the cargo ship landed at Station Cora 9, one of the busiest trade stations in the Outer Rim. The air smelled of machine oil and spice. Thousands of aliens moved through the bright metallic corridors. Ethan pulled his hood low to hide his face. Humans were common on the station, but he didn't want any attention. Not with the footage he carried. His plan was simple. Find someone who could help him decode what was in the recording. He contacted an old friend, Ria Juno, a human tech specialist who lived on the edge of the station. She was one of the few people who didn't ask too many questions. When she saw him at her workshop, her eyes widened. "Ethan Cole, you're supposed to be banned from interstellar travel after that Mars incident." He grinned weakly. "Good to see you too," she crossed her arms. "What did you do this time?" He hesitated, then said quietly, "I went to Zitha." Her expression froze. "That's impossible, I know, but I have proof." He placed his camera on the table and replayed the footage. Rhea leaned forward as the images glowed across her wall. The shining city, the alien markets, and the glowing core. Her face slowly changed from disbelief to wonder. This is real?" Ethan nodded. "The council has been lying. The city wasn't destroyed. It's still there, but it's not what they said. It's like it's alive, and it didn't want me there." Rhea stayed silent for a long moment. Then she whispered, "Ethan, do you know what this means? If this gets out, the council will do anything to erase it, and you." He sighed. "I didn't come for fame, Rhea. I came for the truth." While Rhea worked on decoding the strange data from the video, Ethan stepped outside the workshop. The lights of the station flickered as ships came and went. He stared out through the glass dome at the stars beyond. Zitha shimmered faintly in the distance, a blue dot lost among millions. "Ceres," he whispered. "What are you trying to tell me?" As if in answer, his wrist device buzzed. The holographic display flickered, showing golden light forming symbols he didn't recognize. "Luma," he said quickly. "Are you seeing this?" "Yes, those are Zitharan symbols." Translating. The symbols shifted into words. "Find the memory vault before the council erases it." "You are not done yet." Ethan felt his heartbeat quicken. "The memory vault? What is that?" "Unknown," Luma replied. "But if Ceres is trying to communicate through the data, it means her consciousness survived inside the recording." Ethan's eyes widened. "You mean she's alive inside my camera?" "In a digital sense, yes. And she seems to want your help." He clenched his fists. "Then we're going to find that vault." Back inside, Rhea was still staring at the data streams when the workshop lights suddenly went dark. "What the?" she started. A cold, robotic voice filled the room. "Unauthorized data detected. Purging process initiated." Rhea jumped up. "It's the council." "They've traced you!" Ethan grabbed his camera and backpack. "We need to go now." The metal doors sealed shut. Two spherical drones burst through the vents, glowing red with scanning lights. "Run!" Rhea shouted. They ducked behind the workbench as lasers sliced across the room, burning through equipment. Sparks filled the air. Ethan slammed a small EMP grenade on the ground, one of Rhea's old inventions. It exploded in a flash, disabling the drones instantly. Rhea coughed through the smoke. "You still use my gadgets, huh?" "Your gadgets saved my life more than once," Ethan said with a grin. They escaped through the maintenance tunnel that led to the outer docks. The alarms blared across the station, echoing through the metal halls. "Where are we going?" Rhea shouted over the noise. "To the memory vault, wherever it is. And where's that supposed to be?" Ethan looked at his wrist device as the golden symbols appeared again. "I think Ceres knows. She's guiding us." Their stolen shuttle raced through the cold black of space. The stars blurred as the engines roared. Ethan sat in the pilot's seat, Rhea beside him, and Luma's soft blue light floating near the dashboard. "Course set," Luma said. "Destination. Coordinates hidden in the Zitharan data pattern." Rhea glanced at the map. "That's in neutral territory near the ruins of the old council archive stations." Ethan smirked. "Perfect hiding place for a secret." For hours they traveled in silence. The stars outside looked peaceful, but Ethan's mind was restless. He thought about Ceres. How calm and sad she had looked when she said the city was an echo. Why had the council erased her world? Then as they approached the coordinates, a massive shape appeared ahead. A dead station orbiting a dark planet. It looked ancient, half-broken, covered in ice. "Welcome," Luma said softly, "to Archive Station Delta 5. They landed inside the silent hangar. The lights flickered weakly as they stepped out. The air was cold and still. Rhea scanned the walls. "No power, no guards. It's been abandoned for years." "Not abandoned," Ethan corrected. "Forgotten." As they walked deeper into the station, strange whispers echoed faintly. Ethan wasn't sure if it was the wind or something else. Finally, they reached a large chamber filled with tall crystal pillars. Inside each pillar, golden lights pulsed faintly like trapped stars. Rhea stared. Are those memories? Yes, a voice said behind them. Ethan spun around and froze. It was Cirrus, or rather a holographic image of her. She glowed faintly, her golden eyes kind but tired. You followed my signal, she said softly. Ethan stepped forward. You're alive, in a way, Cirrus said. When the core expelled you, part of my essence attached to your device. I knew you'd come, Rhea whispered. What is this place? Cirrus turned toward the glowing pillars. This is the memory vault. Every city like Zitha had one, a place that stores the history and minds of its people. When the council feared our knowledge, they sealed us away. Ethan frowned. Why, what did they fear? Cirrus looked at him sadly. Because we discovered something they wanted hidden. The council didn't build the galactic network of worlds. Humans did, long before your kind lost their history. Ethan's eyes widened. Humans built the network? Yes, she said. Your ancestors were the first travelers between stars. The council erased that truth so no one would challenge them. Rhea stepped closer. So Zitha was human-made? In part, Cirrus replied. Humans helped us create it. But when they vanished, the council claimed everything. And when we tried to remind them of the truth, they destroyed our cities. Ethan clenched his fists. They called it forbidden because they were hiding their own crimes. Cirrus nodded. And now you hold the proof. The chamber began to tremble. Alarms blared through the old station. Luma's voice shouted, Incoming ships, council security forces. They found us. Cirrus turned to Ethan. You must take the vault data and run. If they destroy this place, everything will be lost. Ethan grabbed a glowing crystal from the nearest pillar. What about you? She smiled faintly. My time is already gone, but you can bring back the truth. Before he could speak, the ceiling exploded. Blue energy beams tore through the room. Rhea pulled Ethan behind a fallen pillar as drones poured in. Ethan, go! She shouted. I'll hold them off. He hesitated. No, I can't. Go! She yelled. Cirrus's voice echoed through the chamber. Run, human! The truth must live. Ethan sprinted toward the exit, clutching the glowing crystal tightly. As he reached the shuttle, the entire station began to collapse. Through the window, he saw the vault shatter in a burst of golden light, and in that final flash, he saw Cirrus smiling. As his ship sped away, Ethan looked down at the glowing crystal in his hand. Inside it, he saw flickers of images, humans standing beside aliens, building cities of light. Luma's voice was quiet. Ethan, what are you going to do now? He stared at the stars ahead and whispered, I'm going to show them the truth. But behind him, a signal light blinked red. The council was tracking him, and they were coming fast. Ethan Cole had become a fugitive. The council had declared him a criminal for unauthorized access to restricted alien worlds. They said he was dangerous. They said his recordings were fake. But Ethan knew the truth. They were afraid. Inside his small stolen ship, he sat in silence, staring at the glowing crystal he had taken from the memory vault. It floated in the air, spinning slowly, casting golden light across the cockpit. Luma, his AI assistant, broke the quiet. Council patrols have increased. We need to change course, Ethan. I know, he said softly, but there's nowhere left to hide. You still have one choice, Luma replied. The humans of Colony Earth 6. They're far from council space. You could show them what you found. Ethan nodded. You're right. It's time people saw the truth. He set the course and leaned back in his seat. As the ship entered warp speed, stars stretched into long trails of light. He thought about Cirrus, her voice, her calm golden eyes, and the city that was once alive. He could still hear her last words echoing in his mind. The truth must live. Days later, his ship emerged near Colony Earth 6, a small human settlement built on a green world at the edge of the galaxy. It wasn't much, just floating cities and farming platforms, but it was home to thousands of humans who had left Earth behind long ago. Ethan knew the people here didn't trust the council either. Maybe they would listen. As his ship landed, a group of guards surrounded him, weapons raised. Identify yourself, one of them said. Ethan raised his hands. My name is Ethan Cole. I need to speak to your leader. I have proof that the council has been lying to us. The guards exchanged glances. Then one of them nodded. Follow me. Inside the main hall, Governor Mira Dane, a tall woman with silver-gray hair, sat behind a long desk. Her eyes were sharp and cautious. You're the one causing all this trouble, she said coldly. The council sent warnings about you. Ethan smiled faintly. I expected that. She leaned forward. They say you've been spreading false data about alien worlds. Why should I believe you? He placed the glowing crystal on her desk. Because this isn't false. This is the memory of a lost world, a world the council destroyed to hide what they did. The crystal pulsed with light. Suddenly, holographic images filled the room. Zitha's shining city, the living streets, the aliens made of crystal and light, and finally Sarah standing tall in her silver robes. Everyone in the hall gasped. Mira's eyes widened. What is this? Ethan spoke quietly. This is Zitha, the city that the council said was too dangerous for humans. But it wasn't dangerous, it was beautiful. The council erased it because it held the truth about our past. Ceres's recorded voice echoed through the hall. Humans were the first to build the network between stars. We worked with many worlds, but when fear replaced unity, the council took control. They buried our history. When the light faded, silence filled the room. Governor Mira looked stunned. Are you saying humans once ruled the stars? Not ruled, Ethan said. We shared. We built together, but they wiped that history clean. Mira stood slowly. If this is true, it changes everything. Ethan nodded. That's why they're hunting me. They can't let the truth spread. Just then the floor shook. A loud alarm blared across the colony. Governor! A guard shouted. Council ships approaching. They're demanding we surrender the fugitive. Ethan's stomach tightened. They found me. Mira turned to him. If we fight, they'll destroy this colony. I know, Ethan said, determination in his voice. But if I run again, the truth dies with me. Mira stared at him for a long moment. Then she said, what do you plan to do? He looked at the crystal, still glowing faintly. I'm going to show the entire galaxy what really happened. The council ships descended through the clouds, dark, massive cruisers that blocked out the sunlight. Their loudspeakers echoed through the colony. Turn over Ethan Cole and all illegal data. Failure to comply will result in immediate enforcement. Panic spread among the colonists, but Ethan climbed to the top of the broadcast tower, carrying the crystal in one hand and his camera in the other. Luma, he said firmly, link the crystal to every open network. All frequencies. Done, she replied. You're live across the galactic grid. Ethan took a deep breath. This is Ethan Cole, he said into the camera. And this, he raised the crystal, is what the council doesn't want you to see. The image spread through space. Millions of beings, humans and aliens, stopped to watch. On every screen, Ceres appeared again. If you are seeing this, her voice said, know that your history is not what you were told. The council was built upon fear, not truth. Humanity once brought light to the stars, and it can do so again. Then came scenes of old cooperation, humans and alien engineers working side by side, building great star bridges and living worlds. Ethan's voice followed. They called Zitha forbidden, but what they really feared was hope. Inside the council flagship orbiting above, High Chancellor Vorel slammed his hand on the console. Cut the transmission now. It's too late, sir, said one of his officers. The signal is everywhere. Vorel's eyes burned with anger. Then destroy the colony. But before he could give the order, one of his own ships powered down. Then another. Messages began flashing across the fleet, crews refusing to fire. The soldiers are hesitating, the officer said nervously. They've seen the broadcast. Vorel's voice grew cold. Then they are traitors. Back on the colony, the skies filled with light. But instead of laser fire, dozens of ships broke formation, turning against the council flagship. A full battle erupted in orbit, bright explosions flashing like stars being born. Ethan watched from the tower, heart racing. They're fighting back. Governor Mira's voice came through his earpiece. Ethan, you did it. People are waking up. But Luma interrupted urgently. The council flagship is charging its main cannon. It's targeting us. Ethan looked up. The sky glowed red. Luma, redirect all power to shields. Not enough power, she warned. He clenched his fist. Then send the crystal's energy to the shield system. That could destroy it. I know, Ethan said quietly. But if it saves everyone, it's worth it. He placed the crystal into the console. It flared with golden light. The shield field around the colony grew brighter, spreading across the entire city. The council cannon fired. A blinding beam of energy shot down toward them. The sky turned white. When the light faded, Ethan slowly opened his eyes. The colony was still standing. The shield had held, but the crystal was gone, shattered into dust. Luma's voice was faint. Energy levels dropping. System stable. You did it. Ethan fell to his knees, breathing hard. Did the broadcast go through? Yes, Luma replied. Every world in the network saw it. He smiled weakly. Then it was worth it. Days passed. The Council's power began to collapse as more planets refused their control. People demanded the truth. Old records were uncovered, and historians confirmed what Saris had said. Humans were indeed part of the first alliance of star builders. Ethan became a symbol of courage, though he refused to call himself a hero. He had simply told the truth. One night, as he stood alone under the stars, Luma spoke softly. You've changed everything, Ethan. He smiled. No, Saris did. She just needed someone to listen. The wind whispered faintly, and for a moment he thought he heard her voice again, warm and distant. The truth must live. He looked up at the endless sky. It will, he said quietly. I promise. A few months later, explorers discovered something new near Zitha, a faint energy signal deep beneath the planet's surface. When they followed it, they found a single golden light still pulsing. It was Saris's final message, repeating over and over. Humanity once brought life to the stars. It can do so again. From that day, humans were no longer seen as fragile newcomers in the galaxy. They were builders once more, dreamers, explorers, and protectors of truth. And though Ethan Cole vanished sometime later, his recordings continued to inspire generations. The video that began with a simple title, Must Watch. How I Ended Up in an Alien City Where Humans Aren't Allowed, became the story that united countless worlds. Because sometimes, the smallest voice can carry the biggest truth.